Stream should be up soon. It should be up now, and hello, I'm DigerHawk3, and this is a late stream, but only referring to the time of night, not referring to my being late for it. It's 11:59. A few seconds ago it was 11:58. That would be 2 minutes to midnight. That's a good song. I'll link it in an annotation. But 2 minutes to midnight is still today. So, I've just been trying to think of what to stream, because today is a coding day. Starting to seem a little short-sighted that when I was working on the Star Trek Online loot parser, I would do like 2 or 3 or 4 hour streams, multiple streams a day, because that was fun, mostly, until it became not annoying, but I wanted it to be done. So now I'm not super sure what to do. I still have the incremental idle clicker, but I'm not super excited to work on that. Last time I worked on it on stream, it was like an hour and a half, and I just broke it. That was all I did. Broke it into tiny little pieces. So, okay, not tiny pieces, but I messed it up and shoved it into an experimental branch in the repo. But today, I suppose you can see that I've got this up here, and this is in Python, and the name of the stream clearly indicates F#, which is not just a note, it's a language, coming from ML, which evolved into Camel, and then OCaml, and now we're at F#. It's kind of building on those other languages. So I'm going to be looking at the F# cheat sheet, is what it's called. You can find it also by googling F# cheat sheet. Let me just write some notes. F# cheat sheet at about 3. Alright, so you can Google F# cheat sheet and it's the first result. github.io something. And I will put it as an annotation somewhere. Maybe it'll be here or there. I don't know. It'll be somewhere here. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of look over that. I've already browsed through it a bit and tried a few things. You can see there's stuff here. F# has an interactive interpreter, an REPL, read eval print loop, so I can put in little bits of code and run them without having to compile a full program. So that's cool. So I'm gonna go through that and kinda babble about it in my wonderful soothing voice. Like, comment, subscribe if you like my wonderful soothing voice. Anyway, the prompt in the shell, this is called FSI, F# interpreter, is a single greater than symbol, where Python's is 3. And if it's continuing a block and waiting for you to finish it before evaluating, it has a single dash compared to Python's 3 dots. So, first thing it has is comments. Okay, comments are block comment with parenthesis slash. I guess that's sort of similar to Java's with slash star and then ending with star slash. This ends with star close parenthesis. So this is a comment, right? And it's a block comment. Yeah. Now F sharp, it doesn't just evaluate statements, meaning a simple statement like break, for example, or a statement that's an expression, or a complex statement like for I in range 3 print I, right? It just lets you keep going doing whatever you want until you enter a certain sentinel string, and then it evaluates what you wrote, and that string is 2 semicolons. And we get nothing because this is a comment. Yeah, it's a comment. Or an inline comment would be let x equal 3 follows a double forward slash, which is pretty common in not in Python, where it's the hash symbol, not a hashtag. The hash symbol. It is known as a hashtag in Twitter because you are tagging it. You are creating tags via the hash symbol. So variable. You see the dash there? It means it's still going, and it's waiting for me to end the block, whatever I'm doing. So I do that, and we have x, which is an int, equal to 3. F sharp is strongly typed, just like Python, but it I don't think it's dynamically typed. It's or is it? I'm not sure. It has type inference, and sometimes it won't let you do things because you've got the wrong type. It's not duck typed, is the thing. Meaning in Python, if something looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, you can perform methods on it like a duck. Strings. We can concatenate with plus. That's pretty ordinary. Where in Python you would have a raw string, which I think I had, I used in the loot parser for the regular expression, because regular expressions often contain backslashes, and backslashes are an escape character in Python, and so we have a language within the language, and we don't want to have a massive attack by backslashes, so we do raw strings. You do raw strings here with the @ sign. Let x equal at hello semicolons, and x is now a string consisting of hello. How about \n? Now it has \n's in there. What if we take out the @ symbol? Then it's HEL line feed LO. That's raw strings. I think we knew that. It has triple quoted strings. Oh. To avoid escaping control characters, except escaping quote by double quote. Oh. Let's see how that works. Looks like it's not a backslash. I'm going to enter this and see what happens. Nope, that works fine. Do you see my confused eyebrow? But I can do that as well. Or no, that's for raw strings. Let's make it raw string. It says use double quote. If you did this in Python, you would have a string of HE and then a string LLO, and they would be automatically concatenated because multiple string literals in a row are automatically combined. You don't need the plus. But here I suppose you do. See, if we add a plus, then we get something different. Now how about... Oh, because I can't use backslashes. Right. Because then it would just be... Let's try to think of what it would be. I have a raw string, HE backslash quote. I would be ending a string with a backslash, which probably can't do. Then I have LLO with a quote. This is going to be a big giant error as soon as it decides to do something. It's probably very confused. No? Quote, and then quote. It's probably waiting for me to close the quote. If I had to guess. Not sure. Ah, yeah, see? It said something is weird here. So let's do the following. Do I want to do anything? We'll use triple quotes. And I think F# is one of those languages that really does differentiate between single and double quotes. I think single quotes are just for characters, not strings. Correct? Can I not do this? Okay, let x equals... And we don't even have to escape a quote with triple quoted strings. Alright. Oh, we can't have raw triple quoted strings or something? Let's take this out and do that. That's great. That's fine. What if I have a backslash n over here? Oh, then it is automatically raw. I see. So, this was probably thinking raw string, and then start it and end it, and it's empty, and then start another one, and HE, and end it, and then LLO, and then start and end a string, and then start a string with 2 semicolons, and yeah, that's what it was doing. So apparently triple quoted strings are always raw. In Python, you can have ordinary triple quoted strings and raw triple quoted strings. So good luck if you don't want a raw string, but you have quotes anyway. I think it's nice to have the option. Python 3.6, which is coming out end of this year, I believe. The cool feature in the feature list, the release notes, the planned release notes, I should say, that I recall is format strings. Instead of doing the letter is and then curly braces letter, and the number is in curly braces number dot format letter number. You denote it with a F for a format string instead of like R for a raw string, and then you do format after, and it will automatically replace the variables you used in the curly braces. So that's cool. What else have we got? Backslash strings indent string contents by stripping leading spaces. So I can have a multi-line string. Multi-line strings are also something you can do in Python with triple-quoted strings. But here, let's use their little example. Let poem equals hello, and then a new line, and backslash strings. That's what it's calling them. And then I can put a bunch of indentation, white space, world, close the quote, enter, pair of semicolons, enter. Now we have hello world, and notice there are no leading spaces. So let's do that again. Take out this to make it no longer be a backslash string. And then we'll, no. And now we have that with those, and our indentation is back. Oh, and it added a new line because strips white space. So the backslash stripped white space. Oh, that included the new line. Let's just end with the backslash. World with this. Hello world. So that strips all white space at the beginning and end of each line, I suppose. Except for the no, only at the beginning. Because, no, that's weird. The new line should have been a part of the hello line. And it removed that. Maybe it considered it to be on the next line? I don't know. Maybe the backslash n is considered part of the string, while the actual physical next line visually is like going from here to over there is considered white space that should be removed. I don't know. Seems okay. I think you could deal with that. Basic types and literals. Most numeric types have associated suffixes. For example, UY for unsigned 8-bit integers and capital L for signed 64-bit integer. Three UY. It's a byte. So that's an unsigned 8-bit integer, which is a byte. And without anything, it's an int, and with an L, it's a 64-bit int. Python 3 no longer makes any distinction between various integer types, short, long, etc. Various things. It just says they're all integers, and the specific kind of integer it is can vary depending on how large it is. If it starts to get too large, it automatically transitions into basically a big num implementation that Python uses. Many languages have a big num implementation. Python's is automatic. Don't have to mess with it. Capital or lowercase f for 32-bit floating point numbers, capital or lowercase m for decimals, and capital I for big integers. It's all automatic in Python. Functions. The let keyword also defines named functions. There's a lot of let in this language. as opposed to Python's x equals 3, you do let x equals 3. If you just do x equals 3, it does a comparison, I believe. Nope. This expression was expected to have type string, but here has type int. What happens there? It's fine. Bool, which is false. And what is x? X is that. Let x equal... let's actually do a single character and see what we get. Char, not string. And we can't do that, because single quotes are only for characters. Because there you have it. But of course, you can have a single character in your string. That's fine. X equals h. Now let's see what we get without let. True. And false. So that's what it does. When it thinks it needs to, it does a comparison. And if you really do want to do an assignment, you use let. That's how it works. But I think you can also do this, right? No. Cannot do that. Means something else. Use single equal sign. That might take some getting used to. Can I do 3? Nope. You can't compare different types. Because, I mean, obviously, they're not the same. And you would never send a function expecting one type of object, the wrong type, right? Because that's how it works, I guess. These types are not ducks of any variety. So that's interesting. You get an error when you try to compare objects of two different types. Let's write a function. Let my function x y equals x plus y. Okay. My function 3 and 9 results in 12. So this is the syntax for function. Function definitions and calls. Notice there are no parentheses anywhere. You have let, and then you have the name of the object you are defining, which is my function in this case. And then if there are more what's that called? Identifiers afterward. They are used as arguments to your function. And then you have equals, and you say, okay, I'm done with the signature of the function. And then in F#, there's no return. That's automatic. The last expression that is evaluated is returned. So in Python, if you have a function that ends with 3, for example, just you have 3 on a line by itself, it'll be like 3. Okay, that's great. And then it will return none, because you didn't return anything. It's not going to guess that you wanted to return 3, but really, why would you put 3 on a line by itself, right? So it's like, maybe you probably want to return that because there's not really any other reason to do it. And if you don't want it to return that, don't make it the last line that gets executed. I don't know. Seems reasonable, I think. I mean, Python Lambda functions are, well, they don't have a return, but it's because they don't contain statements. They can't. They are a single expression. That expression is evaluated and returned. So, now how about let my function, what I'm currently doing, which is overwriting a pre-existing object, a pre-existing reference name, it'll only let you do this in the interactive interpreter. It will not let you do that within a script. But it will let you here, so I'm going to do it. My function equals I'm going to do a multi-line, right? 3 and no. Possible incorrect indentation. Oh, I have to indent. Yeah, let's just end that. This, and let's indent and 3 and indent and 9. Okay, and then it's not happy. Use ignore to discard the result of the expression, or let to bind the result to a name. So when it saw 3, it's like, what are you doing? Do you want to save it with let, or do you want to ignore to discard it? Let's see what my function is, shall we? It's 9. Anyway, I got this warning because I didn't just define a function. Let my function equal 3. Now this is this will become more apparent if we tried to use it as a function, like mapping a list to it. But this is something that tripped me up earlier. You want to define a function. If there are no parameters, then you do need parentheses. Instead of putting them in there every time, just saying if it's, and Python has the def keyword. So it only needs def for functions and class for classes. This uses let for everything, and then parentheses only when needed. So each language designer has their own opinion of what should be always there, and what you should just get rid of if it can possibly make sense without it. F# doesn't need this or that, except when it does. So empty parentheses. So here we see my function is an integer. Let's do this again. Equals 3, and my function is an integer equal to 3. Let my function with no arguments equal 3, and my function is a function which returns an integer. See, there's a difference, a large difference, because if you want to call it, integers won't do, because you can't call an integer. Actually, yes, you can. You can't really map things to an integer, though. I mean, you can get a method. It depends. But they are different. Integer and function. It depends on whether it's callable, but functions are definitely callable. Some things that aren't functions aren't callable. So it matters. Here we are. This is something that when I first saw seemed really amazing and weird and cool. And then about 10 seconds later, I'm like, why do we need that? So pipe operator is used to chain functions and arguments together. In Python, you may recall such things as myString dot lower dot what other string methods do we have? How about I don't know. I don't care. Doesn't need to make sense. Dot lower dot upper dot is upper. This is called method chaining. You have your object, and then you refer to a method, and you call it. And here's referring to a method, and we call it. And then you have a new object. And then you refer to another method on that object, or maybe the same one, I don't know. And you call it. And then you have a new object, and you refer to a method in there, and you call it, etc. Method chaining. Very nice. In F#, you use the pipe operator. Pipe with greater than, which is pipe this away. So, let's get a list. Not an array. I think list is like this. 1, 2, right? Yeah, it's a list of integers. I think lists are heterogeneous. I don't remember. No. You can't get Flask. So list is a homogeneous data type. A homogeneous collection. It can only have one type of element in it, which is fine. That's a thing. I think it has a different thing that's homogeneous, like array or tuple or something. I don't know. So let's have 1 and 2 and pipe it to list dot sum. And the sum is 3, because 1 plus 2 is 3. That's piping. In Python, we would do this. Sum 1 and 2. Which, as you can see, is a few characters shorter, because we don't have to invoke the list name again. Like when we had our string with lower and upper and is upper, we didn't have to say, okay, I'm going to do string.upper on this and string.lower on this. We already had our object and we called a method on it. Now, in theory, if you want, you could do string.upper, string.lower, string.isUpper, my string. You could, but don't, for real, because you can refer to methods by their class name and then pass them as the first argument an instance of that class. It's a perfectly valid way to do it, but don't. I mean, it works, but don't do that. Or you can use the shortcut for that, which is you have your object and then just call a method on it. my object dot method name is equivalent to automatic to deliberately getting the class and passing it an instance of that class. So here we need to do list.this and list.that with the pipe and whatnot. We can do recursive functions. Actually, let's back up a bit. This operator is essential in assisting the F# type checker by providing type information before use. If you want to have if you want to say that we're getting a string array for your function. Very excuse me one moment. Alright, that's better. Nice throat clearing. So F# would rather you be very, very careful with types everywhere instead of letting things quack like a duck. The composition operator, two greater than symbols in a row. In Python, that is bit shifting, but here it is not. So okay then. It's used to compose function. They don't really explain what composing a function is, but they do this. First we gotta define some things. Let negate x equals negative x. Can I do that? Negate 3, right? Isn't it? The example they give is x times -1. That would be negative x. Anyway, let square x equals x times x. This is very verbose with all these blank lines and the you just did a thing and here's what it does. Hello. Hey, listen, hey. Let print. In Python I would not do this. They have named their function print. But it's okay because the name of the print function here is printf. Or if you want a new line, printfn. Kind of like Java's system.out.print and system.out.println. At least we don't have to say system.out here. In Python, you can do that if you want. You can import sys and do this, and then do sys dot standard out, std out, if you want. But I wouldn't recommend it. Just use print. Print fn number is %d for a digit, and we have interpolation, and I suppose the interpolation is automatic. We do not need another %sign for this. We just do x. Not over there. At the end, please. Okay. Alright, let's use the composition operator. Let square neg print what is this? Double backtick identifiers. You can basically have a string for the variable name for the identifier. So you can have spaces in it. I don't know if I approve of that. Function names should be short enough to be easily looked at and immediately understood, long enough to be descriptive as to what they're doing. And if you've got spaces in there, maybe it should be a comment or a doc string. I don't know. Square neg print x equals, and here I'm going to do, they have a multi-line function definition with only one line, but that's okay. Need an indentation. No curly brace. F# is a little like Python in this. Have a white space and indentation for scope and blocks. So that's cool. Square, and then we compose that to negate, and compose that to print. I don't know if compose that is the right terminology. Square neg print. How about 5? So that should give me negative 25. What's this? What did I just do? I have no idea. Do I have to do that? No. I don't know what to do with that. Compose functions. Square and negate and print. Is it the same thing as the piping dealy? Oh. There's no argument. So maybe I did that wrong. There should be no x here. Square and negate and print. Okay. Let's see what happens with 5. And now it produces negative 25. So I guess it puts all those functions together. So it acts like square, and whatever the input for square is, you should use that as your input to square neg print. And whatever the output for square is should be an appropriate input for negate. And the output for that should be an input for print. And the output for print is what happens is the returned value of this function, because it's the last expression that happens, the last thing. Okay. In Python it would be def square neg print x print negate square x. And now you can immediately see a drawback to this bit of Python, that something I don't like, using functions instead of chaining methods. It's backwards. And you literally end up, because it's at the end, with a bunch of parentheses. And this isn't Lisp. If I wanted to write Lisp, I would write Lisp, because that's what I would do if I wanted. So I guess that's cool. Composition can be a little shorter. I think maybe the Python version is clearer. Maybe? I don't know. Square, negate, print. I suppose if you're used to that syntax and that idea, it's fine. I think an F# person looking at this Python code would understand what it is, what it's doing, and then be like, oh, why don't you use function composition? And would be like, because I have no idea what you're talking about. Recursion. The first thing to understand about recursion is the first thing to understand about recursion. I'm gonna stop now. Rec, to say it's recursive. In Python and other languages, you don't need to specify that your function is recursive. But I guess here there's some thing with using a name that hasn't been used before. I don't know. But you gotta use it. So it's let rec, and then you continue to do things. And you can then use the name of that function within it. So let's do the following. Oh, they have Fibonacci later on anyway. That's annoying. I was going to do that, but then I'm going to be looking at it. Yeah. Fibonacci numbers are a good little exercise to do if you want to see if you have a basic understanding of language stuff, or whatever language you're using. I mean, you go to python.org, and the very first code sample that they show in the little example thing, and you can like kind of slideshow through them, is Fibonacci sequence. I mean, it's iterative instead of recursive, so a recursive version is also a good one, because it doesn't say right on the homepage. So you can practice and have fun with that. Making a good one. A recursive Fibonacci function should not call itself twice with every call. It's very bad. Let's see. Mutually recursive functions call each other with and. Okay, that's fun. Let's do some recursion. Let rec fib x equals is there an if? Yeah, there is, right there. Oh, we need a then. I guess it's either then or some other way of saying that we're done writing the condition and we would like to do the action. In Python, that's a colon. If x less than 2, then x. And remember, we don't need a return, so there you have it. Else, fib 0, 1. Did I do this wrong? Yeah. This site's Fibonacci example is has 2 recursive calls per call. That's bad. Let's just end that right now. Here has type int. Probably because I said rec, and it's not rec, it's not a recursive function. Can I do default arguments in here? I don't know. No. This is much nicer in Python. I shall show you. Can I show you? Does that work? Let's do this. Is that no? It doesn't switch, huh? Hello? the other one. Is it on the other one? It is on the other one now. Great. Okay. We don't have to say recursive. Here's how it works. We have our number, a equals 0, b equals 1. And this defines default values. If you don't have default values, you basically have to make a wrapper function. And then you define fib with just n. And then inside there, you would call the actual fib with n and 0 and 1 for start values. But here's how we do it in Python. N equals 0, b equals 1. Return fib n minus 1 a plus b if n else b. I think that's it. List map fib range, how about 5? Map in the list, and that's correct. Great. Let's go a little higher. That's the Fibonacci sequence. If you're ever at a job interview for something programming related, and they say, give me a recursive Fibonacci function, you go, alright, can I do it in Python? Is that alright? Do you mind? I'll be like, well, okay. And they won't know what you have in mind. And then you do this, and you're done in, 30 seconds, and they go, oh. And then you tell them Python's pretty good. And they go, you are not hired because you will be annoying, telling everyone that Python is awesome. So yeah, that's how you would do it in here. I don't know how you would do it in F#. Can we have default arguments? That's the question. That's what I'm interested in. There we go. That switches it. Very nice. I have two PowerShell windows, so there you have it. Can I do this? Oh, there's people in chat. I had sorry about that. I had the cheat sheet window on top of things. And that was oh, that was a while ago. That was at the beginning of the string. Forgotten string Z says, can I ask a question? How do you even get to the coding screen? Sorry I didn't see that earlier, but you have to run the interpreter, which is FSI, and I don't remember how I found it. It's somewhere in the F# stuff. There's an executable for it. And then I just added that folder to my environment variable. And then I can just say FSI and it starts. I will show you an example. Let me do it with the command prompt. Do I have that somewhere? I think I do. Yeah. Neat. Command prompt and command. Where is it? Can we? There we go. Awesome. So here's command prompt. FSI. And then we're here. That's what we do. And Zephy-chan says, every day I'm rappelin'. Because the REPL. Fantastic. I apologize for not seeing that earlier. I was very intensely focused on F#. It is not familiar to me. I'm really bad about looking in chat because oftentimes there's no one there. F# default arguments. Can I do that? By default arguments in F# are reference types. Optional parameters. Optional arguments. That's what I want. From MSDN. Great. This language is kind of curated by Microsoft. It used to be extremely proprietary and secret, and now it's open source, I think, and freely available. So that's cool. Let's try tuple and curried arguments. I don't understand what that means. Currying. I do not understand. Wildcard pattern? I don't know what this thing is talking about. This is official documentation. It's probably not really intended as tutorial stuff. Store a matched value as a local value. What are they talking about? Let this, and we have that as S. And return S. Let's try that. Let's try that. I don't know, man. Let's see. Let's try it with something simple. Let my function x as 3 equal x. No. Unexpected integer literal in pattern. So I can't do that. So I thought maybe I could store a matched value as a local value. Slice this as s equals s. I guess not. Like, can I just use default arguments? Fine. Fine, I won't. Def, no. Let fib n equals real fib n 0 and 1. Do I have to define the other one first? Yes. Yes, I do. Let real fib n let recursive real fib n a and b equal if n less than 2, then b, else real fib n minus 1 with a b and a plus b. Okay. Wrong. real fib and -1. This value is not a function and cannot be applied. I don't really know what that means. Else something or other. Maybe if I do this. Parentheses. Do I need that? I didn't think I did. It'll fail. The resulting type would be infinite when unifying these. I thought I had it, but I guess not. What's wrong with this exactly? And here they have else something, and then something else. Isn't it just call it? What other functions do I have? Can I do my function? Does that still work? Does it exist? How about square and egg print? No, that works. I shouldn't need parentheses. Let tester func ABC equal A plus B plus C. Tester func 1, 2, 3. And that gives 6, as it should. So why did this fail? Of course, now I'm checking chat a lot more frequently, but people left because I wasn't looking at it at the right time. Sorry, that's my bad. It's something I really got to work on. It's in my complement sandwich. I have cool Python, but I don't chat very well. But I have a soothing voice. That's a complement sandwich. You have a complement, and then something you need to work on, and then another complement. Yeah. So, I don't know why this doesn't work, because it totally should. Let's try it with something simpler. Let my func x equal if x less than 2, then x, else tester func 1, 2, 3, 1 minus 1, 4 times 3, and 5. Doesn't work. So value is not a function and cannot be applied. Maybe if I use parentheses for all this stuff, I really don't know. I have to parenthesize those. I'm not sure why. Maybe it doesn't like the fact that I'm doing full expressions. Like one number minus another number. Instead of, I'm just going to copy and paste. And then this. If n equals 2, then b. Else we have this, and we have, I don't know if everything needs to be, but I'm going to anyway because I will. Okay. Very good. Let fib n equal real fib n and 0 and 1. Fib 3 is 2, and with 4 we have 3, and with 5 we have 5, and with 6 we have 8. That's the Fibonacci sequence. Neat. I would have significantly preferred to be able to do that in Python because default arguments. I'm sure F# has them somewhere in some way, called something else for a completely different purpose, but I would have used them for this. Because really the example in this this cheat sheet thing is pattern matching. So it's basically a switch case thing. If an object is equal to this, then do that. If that object is equal to this instead, then do that. They have let rec fib n equals, so they're defining the recursive fib, and then it's a match n with, and then they have if it's 0, then return 0, 1 produces 1, and anything else produces fib of n minus 1 plus fib n minus 2. That's very bad, because you end up making way too many calls, and there's no need for it. I used a wrapper function, but that's okay. If I knew how to use default arguments, optional parameters, whatever you want to call them, in F#, then I could have used those, and that would have been good too. But maybe this has tail recursion and it's okay here, or something. But 2 calls, you don't need that. That matches an idea of the Fibonacci sequence, but it does not match an implementation of the iterative method, which is save both, save 2 numbers, and then add and replace one. AB equals B equals B, meaning AB equals B A plus B, right? That's what you'll see if you go to python.org and look at the first example that pops up. That's what they do, but like a simple loop. So calling your recursive function twice is not necessarily the way to do it. If it is necessary for some reason, then fine. But otherwise, no, don't do that. Mutually recursive, instead of let rec, you use and then they call each other. So that's cool. Pattern matching is a switch case, basically. Oh, you can use when. The when keyword, because why not? That looks like a ternary operator. In Python, it would be A if X, else B. And then if the X condition is true, return A. Otherwise, return B. And in, like, C or something, I don't know, it would be X, A, B, something like that, yeah. So it's basically saying X, we're asking if X is true, and if it is, then A, otherwise B. And here, let's see if I'm correct, and it is what that is doing. 3 when 3 less than 5. Otherwise, 1. Nope. Unexpected keyword when in interaction. Expected incomplete structured construct at or before this point. So it's not an ordinary ternary operator. You can only use it in a structured construct, like a match with. So okay then. It looks like it does the same thing. They have a switch case of, match with. 0 produces 0. X, when x less than 0, producing -1, and x, 1. So 0, 0. If it's less than 0, it produces -1. And otherwise, it's 1. Anyway. So not an ordinary ternary operator that you can use wherever you want. Pattern matching on arguments. I don't care. I don't think I wanna get there yet. Oh, there's lots more. Collections, lists, arrays, sequences, higher order functions on collections, tuples, records, discriminated unions, exceptions, classes and inheritance, interfaces and object expressions, active patterns, compiler directives. We'll do that later. Not now. We've got pattern matching. That's great. Function keyword. Okay, fine, cool. So that's F# for today. Sorry again for not seeing chat. It occurred a few minutes after I went live. Actually surprising. Generally people join at like half an hour in. I've gotten reports of sometimes the stream doesn't exist in YouTube until it's been going for half an hour. I have not personally been able to replicate that. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah. So that is F#. Next time we'll do, I guess, lists and sequences and stuff. Go through that cheat sheet. And hopefully I will notice any chat that occurs. I really, really wish YouTube at least had an option for some kind of notification that there are chat messages. An option, not required, because people with large streams, their chat is just, a constant stream of, stuff. They would be spammed, by notifications. But I'd like to be able to turn that on, to know that there are people asking questions and saying stuff in chat. But I guess it's something that's only really applicable to smaller streamers, and therefore not really important. Hey, can you guys spend, money developing a feature for people who don't make you a lot of money? Right? No. I don't think that's gonna happen. So it's up to me, I guess. Sorry. I'll try harder. Maybe I'll think of some way to... Maybe there's an auto hotkey script somewhere to watch the window and look for when there's more text appearing in it, and then it can pop a message box or something. I don't know. Because this is there's got to be a way to be notified when there's chat. I have my phone, and it's absolutely obsessive about notifying me of chat messages. Someone says like, hey, and then send, how was your day? Send. And I get 2 ringtone notifications. And it's like, I get it that someone is continuously talking to me. It doesn't have to continuously ring. And then there's YouTube that has no notifications for chat. Happy medium would be great. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. And that's some F# from a Python perspective. And tomorrow, games. I don't know which one, but there are many options. LOL or Dota or hundreds of Steam games that I have never installed. So I hope you join me for those. And I will see you then. Have a good one.